I don't know where this is all going to go. Obviously, like, I mean, I'm making fun of it, but the stakes of this, like, couldn't be higher or more horrifying. Considering, like, does anyone have any real faith that the United States and the Trump administration has some sort of fortitude not to get involved in like a much more serious war than the one they've already started?
It does sort of make you wonder, like, is there anything that at this point Israel could not make us do?
Right.
It seems like the answer is no.
Well, Libby, I was thinking about that with another round of triumphalism on the internet over the weekend was all the people posting photos of Kamala Harris being like, bet you wish you voted for her now. I know she would never have gone to war with Iran.
Yeah.
And like, look, to a certain extent, there's cope on both sides here. And I'll cop to it. Maybe Kamala Harris wouldn't have preemptively bombed Iran at Israel's request. It's just, if that's the case, she's made no indication otherwise.
Yeah.
Because like, do you really think someone coming out of the Biden administration has like I said, has the either the ability or the inclination to say no to Israel ever?
Yeah, like, I mean, Kamala, by all indications, she's not done with politics, and this is a very unpopular president. This war is incredibly unpopular. She said fucking nothing about it, and people posted the clip of her saying that Iran is our greatest threat, which is, she's not unique in Democrats in saying that. What is unique is the sheer terror in her eyes when she says our greatest threat. That's easy, because the thing with Kamala is not that I 100% believe she would strike Iran. I don't know that for a fact.
Sure.
I guess we'll never know, because she threw the election. She did everything possible to make sure she lost the election.
Well, what I do know is that more than any other Democrat who has run for president in our lifetimes, more so than Bill Clinton, she has no beliefs. And I don't mean that in that like she's a genius, cynical operator. I mean, she just has never thought about that part. And she has not thought about it so much that when she gets asked questions like that, she goes, oh my God, what? I know this one. Fuck. And that doesn't instill a lot of confidence. It doesn't instill a lot of confidence that, like, yeah, I don't think she would, but like, what if, similar to Trump, enough people convinced her, hey, you're going to get yelled at if you don't do this.
Yeah,
which seems to move her on fucking everything else. It's the reason why during her, we call it a 2019 presidential primary campaign. That is how long it lasted. During that, she was like, I'm an AFAB, like it just, she had policy positions that like even Elizabeth Warren would hear on that debate stage and go, what the fuck? What are you talking about?
Yeah, she was Medicare for all who wanted, or whatever, right?
Yeah. That was
cool.
Pete. That was Pete, I believe.
Sure. Yeah, she had I think she had like Medicare Advantage for all. I think that was her thing. She was like, this is really good.
Wait, so Medicare for Advantage for all? So it's like people who aren't on Medicare can now buy a supplemental private insurance for Medicare that they don't have?
Yeah, I honestly, I blocked it all out. I try not to think about what they all said at the time, because it's so hilarious to think about now. But I mean, the other thing about this is that you don't even have to theorize about what Kamala would have done, because Chuck Schumer, who is the fucking Senate Democratic leader, said, "Oh, I'm really pissed that he didn't. I'm really pissed that there's no War Powers Act. I'm going to vote for it." So it's like, what the fuck,
Libby?
Yeah,
this is the next thing I was going to bring up. The other thing, Donald Trump did the Democrats a huge favor by not consulting with Congress before he started this war, because it just reveals yes, this is flagrantly unconstitutional, and any Democrat not talking about impeaching him immediately for one of the gravest violations of the Constitution imaginable, are full of shit. The line from the Democrats in Congress right now, like Adam Schiff, is this is a totally illegal war that we should have been consulted about first before agreeing to go along with it.
Yeah, it's like, I was supposed to be able to hold your hand while you press the button, and you started it without me. Like, it's a completely different objection. It's pathetic.
The statement from the Democrats on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee was complaining that they didn't get briefings. Which again, I mean, like
we don't know what lies to tell our constituents. Please send around the talking points.
This goes back to another central issue, which is like, okay, so from 2016 to 2021, 22, about the posture was that, Donald Trump he is at once like a fever over the Republican Party that has to be broken, but he's also like, he's a madman. He's a fucking lunatic. He's a criminal. We're going to throw him in prison using the powers of Merrick Garland. And then, like, obviously their response to a close victory by Trump in a cost of living election against an incredibly unpopular incumbent administration was like, oh, all right, well, I guess the average person is that Duck Dynasty guy who died. and so they've dropped that posture, and now, before all that, they were in favor of like him moving the embassy. Still, they were in favor of killing Soleimani, and the central contradiction there, of course, was like, okay, you agree with this madman, this lunatic who should be in jail on like 80-90% of foreign policy things, but you think he should call you first. But now they've dropped that, like, he needs to go to prison thing, which it doesn't endear people to you or more conservative voters. It just, again, makes you look like, hey, you got us. We were lying.
Yeah.
And now with this, it's like, the guy we were lying about, we admit he's great and he's bringing jobs back. His foreign policy thing is reckless and insane, and we would like the opportunity to agree with it. And it's like, okay, then just kill yourselves.
I don't know if you saw this, but I mean, like, there are some Democrats in Congress who are like, Ro Khanna has this War Powers Act right now, like intended to constrain President Trump's ability to, get us much further involved in this war. And again, just to be clear here, we have already gone to war with Iran. Okay, like there are levels of degrees, but like this is an act of war. We are at war with Iran right now. Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries was asked today if he would be supporting Ro Khanna's War Powers Act. And his response was, I have to take a look at it. I haven't read it yet.
Remember,
you can imagine, yeah. Like, look, Hakeem, I know you got a lot of other important stuff to be paying attention to right now. So, but maybe
I'm going to start doing that with everything. Like when the IRS sends me a letter being like, you didn't pay your taxes, I'm like, well, I haven't read it yet. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Remember again, this was more like a 60th. Whenever Trump would tweet something where it's like, we're going to end like birthright citizenship. So like something that would be on Truth Social, they would ask like Kevin McCarthy, oh, have you seen, what is your response to Trump's latest, proclamation? And he would go, I haven't seen it. And that way it was like a running thing that if you would ask a Republican who is in anything but less like anything except like, an R+90 district, they would go, I haven't seen it. This is the exact same fucking thing.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, because like Republicans with Trump is like they just don't know what to do. Like I feel like they are completely paralyzed by feeling like basically everybody agrees with Trump and Trump won, and I don't know what their plan is other than just like wait for him to die, and then all they've got is JD Vance, which honestly maybe kind of a good plan.
Well, I mean, the double problem for the Democrats is that they all support a war with Iran, but they know how unpopular it is, and they need to find some way of supporting it and not supporting it at the same time, because like doing, and like the last thing I want to say about this, it goes back to the Tucker Carlson's humiliation of Ted Cruz and this old question about, do you blame voters for getting it wrong, or do you blame the politicians who ran the campaign that they voted or didn't vote for? Because like, a lot of the triumphalism about like, bet you're sorry you didn't vote for Kamala now, like, all you one issue voters have doomed us to this. I mean, like, the corollary to that is that, yes, like that so many people voted for Trump because they thought he was an anti-war candidate, or that like he cynically made overtures to like, I'm the peace candidate and no more stupid wars, no more foreign entanglements. Yes, obviously everyone who voted for him based on that pitch is a rube who got rooked, as they, rightly should. But like the ease with which the Democrats have just surrendered the viability of an anti-war position, or just like the idea that they were willing to allow Tucker Carlson to be the voice against U.S. empire and imperialism or interventions abroad, is just like seeding the entire field to the far right, and then wondering why they get elected.
Yeah,
I honestly think they prefer for it to be to them like having Tucker be the voice of that isn't a failure. In their best of worlds, where like things get fucked up so bad that the average voter just wants like, oh, it's like ostensibly left of center institutionalist like Joe Biden again. They would love a sort of, and they tried this as hard as they could during the Trump years to brand anti-interventionism as like a bad misinformation Russia thing that can get you banned from all social media.
Yeah, and it's just once again, like if Kamala Harris would not have bombed Iran, she could say so now, and she could have made any indication that she was for peace on the campaign trail. And
right.
every attempt to, I mean, basically any engagement with this issue at all indicated that she would do the exact opposite. So, I mean, like once again, the idea that you allowed yourself or allowed people to get rolled by an obvious fraud like Donald Trump just because he would simply say, we've done too many stupid wars. I'm not going to do any more, and I'm going to end the ones we already have. I mean, yeah, we're seeing now that obviously he was full of shit about that. But like,
Right.
why is it so easy for him to say that and people will vote for it because like he's the only candidate who is saying something like that?
Right. And obviously, like the pundit, any online politics, fucking whatever. Anyone who like believed Trump, especially like again after we saw him as president, who believed that is completely risable. Everyone, if you actually believe that, you are a fucking idiot. I don't know how many people in your life this describes. Or it wouldn't even be in my life. It would just be people I've known in my online dealings. But like, I've if you know enough people, you've seen people who've like switched over. Like the trauma of losing in 2020 was too much for them. Among the people I know that loose acquaintances who flipped over, it includes like someone who got Me Too'd like disproportionate to their follower account. like like someone who like, so I always think like, you have 1,500 followers, how are you always getting Me Too?
What's the point? Yeah.
Yeah, like what the fuck? Just generally like dupes, people who like their posts before this were like, well, you guessed it, I clicked on another phishing link. So, not smart people who fall for that. And to their credit, a lot of these dum-dums that I've seen, both ones I know and I don't know, they have been like, what the fuck? We didn't vote for this. Wait, now they're telling me he did this stuff last time? What? Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the people that, again, with the immigration stuff, the stories of people being like, well, I didn't think he was going to deport, I don't know what the end of that sentence is, moms or kids, or I thought he was
my
just
wife.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I didn't think he was going to deport. Sometimes it's just me. I didn't think he was going to deport me.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know. We got an information crisis, I guess, because I don't know where you could have gotten that.
Yeah, but Will is right though. Like, if you cannot like say, hey, this guy like in his last weeks in office, like made it that much more difficult for us to ever have any sort of diplomatic relationship with Iran by assassinating to millions of Iranians a national hero. If you can't even come out and say that's bad, if your only criticism was it may have been imprudent, it's your own fucking fault.
Once again, you can blame the voters for being stupid, or you can blame the politicians they're voting for.